Today, we're going back to the streets of Tokyo-to, where the music is bumping, the spray paint's flying, and the cops are always one step behind. That's right, we're celebrating 25 years of one of the coolest, most stylish, and downright unforgettable games ever made, Jet Set Radio. Released in the year 2000 on the SEGA Dreamcast, Jet Set Radio wasn't just a game, it was a full-blown attitude. It combined graffiti, rollerblading, underground culture, and one of the best video game soundtracks of all time. So grab your skates, fire up the boombox, and get ready. We're taking a deep dive into the history, the impact, and the legacy of Jet Set Radio 25 years later. Let's set the scene. The year is 2000, the PlayStation 2 is on the horizon, the Nintendo 64 is winding down, and SEGA, they're putting everything they've got into the Dreamcast. It's their last big swing in the console wars. And in the middle of all this chaos, a small internal team at SEGA, Smilebit, comes up with something completely different. A game about rebellious teenagers on inline skates, tagging graffiti across a futuristic city while dodging the police. No guns, no realism, no grey and brown color palettes. Just neon streets, high-speed skating, funky beats, and total freedom. Smilebit was made up of young developers who wanted to break the mold. They were inspired by street fashion, hip-hop, underground art, and the growing popularity of extreme sports. They weren't trying to make the next big blockbuster. They wanted to make something bold, something weird, something cool. The result was Jet Set Radio. What really set it apart visually was its use of cel shading. Jet Set Radio was the first major game to use this technique, and it made everything look like a living, breathing comic book. Characters popped off the screen. The world had this exaggerated, cartoonish look that felt completely fresh. But visuals were only part of the story. The entire vibe of the game, its characters, its city, its rebellious tone, was something no one had seen before. Gameplay-wise, Jet Set Radio was all about movement and momentum. You played as a member of the GGs, a group of graffiti-tagging skaters fighting for control of Tokyo-to. Each level was a different part of the city, and your goal was to tag specific locations while avoiding rival gangs and an increasingly over-the-top police force led by the unforgettable Captain Onishima. The controls were floaty, the platforming was tricky, and sometimes the camera didn't quite cooperate. But when you got into the flow, it felt amazing. And tagging graffiti wasn't just pressing a button. You had to move the analog stick in specific directions to paint each tag. It made every piece feel like your own signature. The game got harder as you went on. Police escalated from foot patrols to tanks, helicopters, and riot squads. It was ridiculous, but in the best possible way. Jet Set Radio wasn't just about finishing levels, it was about doing it with style. Now let's talk about the real star of the show, the soundtrack. Jet Set Radio's music is iconic, period. You've got Hideki Naganuma's signature style, chaotic, funky, sample-heavy tracks like Let Mom Sleep, Humming the Bassline, and Grace and Glory. These songs define the game's identity. Then there's Guitar Vader, Richard Jacques, and licensed artists in the Western version, like Jurassic 5 and Rob Zombie. It was a wild mix of genres, funk, hip-hop, electronic, punk, even pop, and somehow it all worked. The music wasn't just background noise, it was the heartbeat of the game. Combined with the non-stop radio commentary from Professor K, Jet Set's wild sunglasses-wearing DJ, you felt like you were part of a real underground revolution. Even now, 25 years later, people are still blasting these tracks. On YouTube, on Spotify, in tribute albums. That soundtrack has never gone out of style. When Jet Set Radio released, critics loved it. They praised the visuals, the soundtrack, and the sheer creativity on display. But sadly, it didn't sell all that well. The Dreamcast was struggling. SEGA was bleeding money. And despite all the hype, Jet Set Radio didn't reach a big audience at first. Still, it didn't take long for the game to earn cult status. Fans latched onto it, and its influence began to spread. In 2002, we got Jet Set Radio Future on the Xbox, a sequel that smoothed out the controls, added larger levels, and gave us another killer soundtrack. For many fans, that's where their love for the series started. But even after that, the series went quiet. No new games, no sequels, just a growing fanbase and a lot of nostalgia. Jet Set Radio has influenced so many games. You can see its DNA in titles like Sunset Overdrive, Hi-Fi Rush, The World Ends With You, and even Splatoon. All of them borrow JSR's love of style, music, and youth culture. And then there's Bomb Rush Cyberfunk, released in 2023. Made by indie developer Team Reptile, this game is a full-on love letter to Jet Set Radio. with skating, tagging, a funky soundtrack, and even music by Hideki Naganuma himself. Fans of JSR finally had something new to play that captured the spirit of the original. The game also had a major impact outside of gaming. Fashion designers, graffiti artists, DJs and YouTubers have all paid tribute to Jet Set Radio over the years. It's one of those games that never truly disappeared. It just became part of the culture. For years, fans begged SEGA for more Jet Set Radio. And for years, nothing. Then, in 2024, SEGA announced something big. Jet Set Radio is finally coming back. They teased a brand new reboot as part of their Power Surge revival project, alongside reboots of Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe and Streets of Rage. The teaser showed updated cel-shaded graphics, a more modern city, and what looked like a reimagined Professor K. It's not clear yet if it's a sequel, a reboot, or something else entirely. But it's real, it's happening, and for fans who've been waiting for 20 plus years, that's huge. If they bring back the music, the characters and the gameplay, and modernize it just enough, this could be the comeback JSR has always deserved. So why does Jet Set Radio still matter, 25 years later? Because it represents something that's become rare in games, a fearless, stylish, completely original idea that stuck the landing. It didn't try to be gritty or realistic, it didn't care about high scores or kill counts. It was about expression, style, rebellion. It showed that video games can be art, that they can celebrate subcultures, that they can give a voice to youth, music and movement. Jet Set Radio wasn't just ahead of its time, it created its own time. And it's still inspiring developers, artists, and fans to this day. So here's to 25 years of Jet Set Radio, to the skaters, the taggers, the DJs, the fans. Whether you first played it on the Dreamcast, the Xbox, or just heard the soundtrack online, this game left a mark, and it's not going away anytime soon. With a reboot on the way and a new generation discovering what made it so special, the future's looking bright and funky. Thanks for watching. If you love Jet Set Radio, let me know your favorite memories in the comments. And if you're hyped for the reboot, smash that like button and subscribe for more retrospectives just like this. Until next time, stay funky, stay rebellious, and never stop skating.
Jet Set Radio!